So if you're wondering about the crappy lighting, I have no power right now. They are doing a routine check on all of the electrical system stuff that I have no clue about, but that's okay. I have a coffee from Tim Hortons and I have a candle burning and I'm ready to talk about books. Hello everybody, it's Kristen here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be bringing you guys my August wrap up. In the month of August, I read 5.5 books. Probably will be finishing that other book up soon, but I still have not finished it, so it's a half. I'm halfway through it. It's a pretty good reading month. A big chunk of what I read was a series. Without further ado, let's just get into this. So the first few books I read in the month of August was A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy by Sarah J. Maas. This is a new adult fantasy series. This is not young adult. I'm sure everyone has heard about this series, and if you don't know what the story of this is, basically the first book is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And then the story takes off from there and we move from A Court of Thorns and Roses to book 2, A Court of Mist and Fury. The last book, A Court of Wings and Ruin. I totally binge read these books. There's something about this fantasy series that just, it's binge worthy, really, it is. I saw a post online the other day and basically it said A Court of Thorns and Roses is the longest prequel ever because the story really gets going in Akamath. And I have to agree with that statement. I reread book 1 and book 2 in order to finally get my head into Akawar. So I reread these two, and this one, I can see why a lot of people would be frustrated with it. There were things that were annoying. So I think I gave this book, I think it's 5 stars on Goodreads. Honestly, I rate it 5 stars because it's a part of the story and I like Sarah J. Maas's writing, and I know a lot of people find it frustrating, but I'm gonna be honest and say I really like her writing. I find that she really unfolds the story really well. There's nothing rushed, nothing too slow. I love all the main characters, how she writes them. I love Feyre's perspective. I know that this isn't the best book, so I understand that, but then we get into this baby, and Akamath is amazing because we have the character Recent, and that's all I want to say. After reading all 3 books, I will have to say that this one is still my favorite. I like reading about romance, and this has got good romance in it. And the way the story unfolds, I think it's just really good. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. The last book, Akawar, again, I think I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I thought this was a really good conclusion of the story. This book definitely took a more kind of political strategy type of aspect of the story, which was actually really nice. It was a nice change up. There were tons of new characters. You really got to understand the world of Prythian in this and all the different courts. The last quarter of this book is, I think it's a really well written end and kind of big finale. I do wish that there was more wrap up of some of the characters. I know that she is going to be doing more books set in the world of Prythian, but I honestly would have liked a little bit more from some of the other characters. I do know that there are more books coming out in this series, and I think one book is set from Lucian's perspective. Oh my freaking goodness, I'm so excited for that. This was a big chunk of August, and that made it a pretty good month for me. The next book I read in the month of August was Talking as Fast as I Can, From Gilmore Girls to Gilmore Girls by Lauren Graham. This is a kind of like a memoir from Lauren Graham, which is Lorelai in the Gilmore Girls series, which I'm sure everyone has heard of that and knows that character, and pretty much everyone has watched it. So I listened to this as an audiobook. And can I just say, Lauren Graham is hilarious. I loved her sense of humor. It started off kind of boring and not really funny, but then she kind of took off, and honestly, she makes Hollywood and celebrity life just seem normal and funny and just like all of us. I really enjoyed that book. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really should be confirming my Goodreads ratings before I film, but what didn't make it a 5-star read for me was I felt like it was just kind of like her telling about chunks of things in her life, you know, fashion and style. When she first got the role of Lorelai in Gilmore Girls and then coming back to it. So I kind of felt like it was just like pieces without like a flow. Still really enjoyed it. So yeah, that was the next book I read in the month of August. And then the next book I read in the month of August was was Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is a young adult fantasy series. This is book 1 in the Caraval series. Unfortunately, there are no more books out yet, and we do not have a publication date for the second book, so I have to wait. Yay. I buddy read this with Cheryl from Sheryl Marasi. That's how I've been saying it, so I'm gonna go with it. And we both really enjoyed this. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Before I tell you a little bit about the book, I want to tell you a funny story about how I actually got the book. Originally, we were going to read Caravelle in July. I had Caravelle on hold in the library, both ebook and physical book. It was taking forever to get a hold of it. So then I was like, can we do the buddy read in August? So about half of August is passing and I didn't have it yet. And there was a sale at my local bookstore and I saw that this was the last one and basically I grabbed it and I was like, guess what? I have the book now. After almost waiting like 2 months for the book, I finally was just able to pick it up for myself. It's such a beautiful book. And I'm really glad I own it now. This is, as I said, a young adult fantasy series following a main character named Scarlett. She and her sister, Tella, live with their father, and their father is a very kind of abusive, angry man, and they want to get away from him. Scarlett's chance of kind of escaping him is she is engaged to a count. So that is her bright future, basically, is she gets to escape her father and go marry the count. So that's kind of the beginning setup of the story. The magical world of Caraval, which you can basically think of it as a circus, is this really famous magical circus that you get to play a game and you can win something. So for her whole life, Scarlett has wanted to go see Caravelle, but she never has gotten an invitation to go. Basically, a week before she gets married, an invitation comes to go to Caravelle, and her sister go. They have to play a game, but the twist of the game is that Tella is kidnapped, and in order to win the game, you have to save Tella. And the story unfolds from there. So I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it. In my Goodreads rating, I basically described it as a super magical world. I loved entering Caravelle. Up until the point that we entered Caravelle, so the, beginning maybe quarter of the book, was kind of boring, dull, very colorless. Finally, you enter the world of Caravelle and it's full of color. That is definitely where Stephanie Garber shines in her writing, is when she kind of describes all the magical things and all the different twists and turns that go on in the story. I like a good complicated plot, and this had a lot of twists and turns which kept me very entertained. So if you like plot more than you like characters, you will definitely enjoy this book. The last book that I am halfway through is The Deep by Nick Cutter. This is the book of the month for April, getting hooga with it. Her book club, Dying to Read, and this was the choice, and I'm past halfway now, and I actually am gonna say I'm really enjoying this. I love the writing. Really like the way Nick Cutter describes things and brings the story to life and kind of scares you but intrigues you at the same time. So I'm really enjoying this. Depending on the ending, I'm sitting at a 4 out of 5 stars right now. I do hope that it has a really good ending. That is all of the books I read in the month of August. It was a really good month. Let me know what your favorite book that you read in the month of August was. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! And I'm like, I wanted it to end a little bit better than that. So I listened to this. Nope. And after waiting like almost 2 months for, oh no, that's not good. Nope.